Hey everybody, this is Kendall Schmidt. You may recognize me as a member of one of the most famous and influential bands in music history, Big Time Rush. And you're watching and listening to the Boys Podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Boys Podcast. My guest today is a singer, songwriter, music producer, and actor. He was a member of the band Heffron Drive and is currently in the band Big Time Rush. You may have seen him as Kendall Knight in Big Time Rush, Justin Knight Lizard in School of Rock, the TV series, and many more. So welcome Mr. Kendall Schmidt. Welcome, Kendall.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. This live studio audience is very loud.
So yeah, welcome Kendall. So Kendall.
And thanks, Joe.
Yeah. So Kendall, what have you been up to? How are you doing? How's Kendall doing?
Kendall's doing good. I've just been getting in shape for the tour, and we've been very busy and have a lot of rehearsals still left to do, and a lot of music has been being made. So it's been pretty whirlwind, but it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, see, I've just been doing just getting out these podcast interviews, talking with some of my favorite people, such as Kendall Schmidt,
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and believe it or not, in 2020, I graduated virtually high school. Kendall, believe it or not.
Congratulations, or as I like to say, congratulations.
Like that, yeah, because it's crazy. Like, this is like a crazy world. Like, I never really expected to be virtual, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't virtual when I was graduating high school, but I was like kind of sort of homeschooled. It was like a charter school program. So for all intents and purposes, I was educated from a distance. You know what I mean? I didn't go to regular school. But that was because I was an actor as a kid, and when I was younger, I probably had 5 auditions a day. So it was just impossible to go to school, because I would have missed it all the time. So
what made you want to become a musician and an actor? Who would you say is your biggest inspiration for music and acting? So,
well, I mean, the biggest inspiration originally was my brothers, because they were acting before me, and naturally, being the youngest brother, I wanted to do whatever they did, Mm-hmm. So I kind of just followed in their footsteps. But as far as being a musician, I mean, my oldest brother Kenneth had a guitar, so I guess in some ways he inspired me to do that, because he had a guitar. But I kind of always sang. I guess I didn't know that I was good enough that anybody would want to hear it at the time. But when I was a kid, I just sang naturally. It just kind of came to me, and then as I got older, I had people starting to say, "Hey, that's pretty good," and then probably the biggest affirming thing was booking the television show, because one of the major criteria of booking the show was being able to sing. And so I took it as a sign that maybe I was good at it, because otherwise I can't sit there and be like, I'm amazing. It's not like I can tell myself that, so you kind of just have to go off of what other people are saying, I suppose.
Wow. I think you're very talented too. Kind of.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See, you can say it. I can't.
Also, too, I think if I remember correctly, wasn't your brother in the Cheaper by the Dozen 1 and 2, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, he was. Kevin, that's my middle brother. And those movies at the time, I mean, I remember, and honestly, it's crazy to see how much, I guess it's the same with Big Time Rush, how much people liked it years later, because I think at the time, of course, we knew that we were doing cool stuff on Big Time Rush, but we didn't, and we knew people liked it, but we didn't know how much of an impact it had on people until much later. Clearly now that we're going on tour again,
people are pumped.
it's pretty obvious that people are pumped, and so that makes us pumped, obviously.
I like that. Now, for like inspirations, did you have like a favorite band or artist growing up and type of music, would you say?
Yeah, that's why I should have circled back to that. Yeah, so as far as my favorite artists, I mean, there's quite a few. I'm a huge Radiohead fan. I guess that kind of came later in life. I've always loved emo music, so I was always a big fan of Taking Back Sunday and Brand New, and always loved Third Eye Blind. And before that, obviously, I was a huge Britney Spears fan, and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and anything that was pop. And Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson. There's like a lot of Phil Collins. There's a lot of influences. The Eagles, one of my favorite bands.
I think the Eagles, I think of Hotel California, I think they sing from her.
Right. Well, if that's the only one then you need to definitely check out the Greatest Hits album, at least.
Because my mom, believe it or not, raised me on 80s music, so I know a lot of 70s and 80s music.
Right, and in the 80s, the Eagles, I think, took a break for a while. Don Henley did, the song Boys of Summer.
Mm-hmm.
That was Don Henley, which is the drummer of the Eagles, drummer and lead singer of the Eagles. So
that's awesome.
When they took a hiatus, like Glenn Frey went and did his own music, and Don Henley did his own music. The other guys did their own music as well. So it was kind of an odd time for the Eagles. But yeah, I appreciate that your mom raised you on 80s music. I think it's important to have a good music education in that way.
Yeah.
If you only listen to things that were coming out now, you'd be missing out on a lot.
Yeah, all the classics, back in the day. I mean, the classics.
Well, and they're classics for a reason.
Yeah.
I wonder what. I always ask this question when I'm talking about music. I wonder what music today would be a classic in 40 years, 50 years.
True. You're absolutely right.
I'm assuming we'll still be listening to the Beatles.
Probably. I see that.
Probably.
Now, have you ever met the Eagles? Because I know you said it's your favorite band. Have you ever met them before? Or?
I'm trying to remember. We went to this charity event thing. Maybe it wasn't a charity event. It was some event for. Must have been, maybe it was Irving Azoff's birthday. Irving Azoff is the manager of the Eagles. And when we were doing Big Time Rush, they had a big giant birthday thing. We don't really know him, but we got invited to it, and the Eagles played. I don't think we met them. That would have been the only time I would have been able to meet them. But I did get to sit in the fourth row at a smaller amphitheater and be right there for a whole performance. So it was exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, because believe it or not, I actually got to meet my favorite band, Queen. Beer Champions or Rock. I actually got to meet them.
Wow, that's amazing. So you got Brian May and how was it?
I was freaking out. Brian's super tall. He taps on my shoulder. I was freaking out.
Yeah, tall and big hair makes him extra tall.
Yeah, it's I was freaking out because it felt like Wayne's World. I felt like the Wayne's World moment.
We're not worthy. Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It's crazy. And
I felt like that. I felt like that when I met Brandon Boyd from Incubus.
That's cool.
Even though I've had conversations with him, and he's even heard some of my music, which I really appreciate. But between you and me, if I'm having a conversation or I ran into him somewhere, I would be definitely kind of freaking out a little bit.
I love music. Music helps. It helps me. I love music in general. You know what I mean?
Well, I do too, man. I tend to listen to the same. I mean, I do catch on to some new music, but I tend to listen to my favorite stuff pretty much exclusively. And for example, I was golfing yesterday with a buddy, and he asked what we should play, and I was like, play Vampire Weekend. And I love Vampire Weekend. I've heard almost all the songs 100 times, but I still love it and enjoy listening to it.
Awesome. Actually, believe it or not, do you know the song "You're the Best"? You remember that old '80s song? "You're the best."
Around, nothing ever gonna bring me down. Yeah.
I actually had the singer of that song on the podcast.
What's the is that what's the name? Hold on. Not of him, but the band. It's not Whitesnake, is it?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's a solo guy. He goes by Joe Bean Esposito, if you're curious.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. See, he actually, believe it or not, if I'm probably ask you the same thing if you could. He actually sang some of his song. I'm probably ask you if you could sing some of your song, one of your songs.
Lord.
So.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. It depends on which one you pick.
Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and other musicians you worked with?
Yeah, I mean, from the cast of the show, obviously, I see Stephen Glickman all the time. I see Caitlin Tarver from time to time, who played Joe. Rarely I see Sierra, but we text every once in a while, Sierra Bravo. I see my mom from the show, Challen Cates. And obviously I see the guys all the time. I don't really see the Jennifers much anymore, but that's not because I don't want to see them. It's just you don't see everybody all the time. And other musicians, like I keep in touch with like Jordan Sparks. Yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with, anyone who's still a friend, people come and go. Joe.
Yeah. Can you walk me through the audition process? Like, how did you get the role of Kendall Knight? If you don't mind?
Yeah. So, at some point it must have been 2007, maybe 2008. Let's say end of 2007, I had an audition for a show. It was called Untitled Scott Fellows Boy Band Project because it didn't have a name. And Scott Fellows is who created the show. And at first I didn't want to go on it because I really wasn't interested in being in a boy band of any kind. And my manager at the time was like, just go, I mean, even if you don't book it, you went, whatever, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I went and I got a call back, and then I didn't hear anything for a long time. I didn't hear anything for it must have been 3-4 months at least, maybe more, 6 months. And so I didn't think I didn't think I got it, and I thought that was the end of it. And then 6 months later, I think I was 18, maybe mid 18. I got a call to come in and do another audition, which I thought was funny because I had already had a call back, so I was like, all right, and at the time I was working on Heffron Drive songs. So, I was also a little worried. I was working on the band. Dustin and I were making stuff. Admittedly, it wasn't that great compared to the stuff that we made later on. But so I was nervous about being pulled away from that in general. But I had my next audition and then got another call back. So I was like, okay, here we are again. And then it took a couple months or a month or two to find out that I was going to Network, which is basically the last audition. Or, it's like where you'd be testing. But before Network, they had what they called Boy Band Boot Camp. And little did I know that the 3 other guys had already been casted. They were just looking for the last guy, and because they had already shot a pilot with another character in. The names weren't our names then. They were character names. I believe it was Donovan, maybe it was the character name. And they had another guy who already was in that part with Logan, James, and Carlos as whatever their names were. I can't remember what their names were. So anyway, they recasted for my part, and I went to Boy Band Boot Camp where I had to sing and it was in front of a vocal coach, and then I had to dance in front of a choreographer, and then I had to act in front of an acting coach. And essentially it wasn't really that they were training us in any way. It was just to see, okay, can this person sing, dance, and act, right? And I think I nailed the singing part. I sang, if I remember correctly, I sang "Sugar We're Going Down Swinging."
Ooh, good choice.
Which I was the only one who sang an emo song. One of the other guys sang "Year 3000" from the Jonas Brothers, and I can't remember what the third guy sang. And I got the thumbs up from the vocal coach, which I felt good about. And then did the acting. I was like, man, if I fail this acting thing, I'm awful because I've been doing this my whole life. So I better be good at this, So I got the thumbs up from her, and I got the thumbs down from the choreographer because I mean, it wasn't like that, but he was like, he needs a lot of work dancing, as we all did, turns out. So anyway, after the boy band boot camp, the three of us who were auditioning for the one part went to the Nickelodeon building in Burbank, and we had our final like network chemistry audition with the guys. So like each one of us went in with the guys and did, an audition in front of the network, which was, either the vice president of casting or, all these various people involved, someone from Sony, someone from, which was very nerve-wracking, as you can imagine. And after that, I booked it.
Oh.
And we started working. I must have booked that in like June, because we started working in August. And I remember I had a trip planned with my buddy to go to the East Coast. And so I had asked, like, they told me there, and then brought me in to see all the network people again. And they're like, congratulations, and I was like, thank you. And then I asked one of the casting directors, like, can I go on this trip still? Because I had it planned for a while. And she goes, well, I would, because you're not going to have a vacation for a while. And I was like, all right. So I went on the trip. I came back, started working, and didn't stop working for like 5 years straight. So it was quite the adventure.
Wow. See, wow. So the origin story of the legend Kendall.
Well, the origin story is a lot longer than that, and it goes back to all the way when I was a kid. But the origin story of Kendall Knight, yes.
Kendall Knight. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, who would you say is the coolest person you ever worked with in your whole career? Who's the coolest?
Snoop Dogg, easy.
Oh, that is cool though. That is Snoop. Like,
yeah, he is literally the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with a lot of amazing people, but Snoop Dogg is the coolest of them all, in that way.
Is he nice?
As far as very, very nice. Yeah, very nice.
Wow. That's awesome. Now, what is your favorite and least favorite Big Time Rush song and Heffron Drive song?
So we'll start with Big Time Rush. My favorite is, we have a song coming out June 10th, Fall. Is probably one of my favorites it's my favorite as far as the new songs go, like the three newest songs. And of the older stuff, like performing, like I really love No Idea. That's probably my favorite song. I like the way that song sounds, and I like the feeling behind that song a lot. Least favorite, that's hard to say. It's probably from the first album, because it was, really, really written for the TV show and less about what, we didn't write any of it, so I'm not as precious about those songs. Man, I probably would have said a long time ago, I probably would have said Any Kind of Guy, but after we did these last shows in December, I actually really enjoyed performing that song. It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of a song that we're definitely not playing because we don't really enjoy playing it. I don't know. I know people really like City Is Ours, but Famous, really like that song. And I think I like aspects of it, but the message behind that song isn't really like how the band feels,
I know. I feel like
I guess the whole thing is, if you want to be famous, be careful, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I guess that's kind of like the message, but it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't have the feeling that we really enjoy. We like to be kind of positive, and that's not that song that comes across a little bit negative, I think.
I know what you mean. Now, how about Heffron Drive, though? No.
Heffron Drive. My least favorite Heffron Drive song. Let me think. That's tough, because I like them all for different reasons. Let's start with my favorite. My favorite You know, I really like One Way Ticket. I really like Black on Black.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And you know, it's funny. A lot of people I've played that song for, they're like, "Yeah, it's just okay," you know. And I was surprised because I'm like, "That song's amazing," you know.
Yeah.
You know, that just goes to show music is subjective. The least favorite. I mean, maybe Stand Forever, which is one of the original songs.
Okay.
It's not, and again, that's hard to say. Like, it's not that I don't like the song. It's just maybe it doesn't connect with me so much anymore.
Do you like Hot Summer at all? I'm assuming.
Oh, of course, yeah. Hot Summer's great. It's a great song.
Sorry, I don't know Heffron Drive. Like it was an awesome band in my opinion. Kendall, so.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what? And just like Big Time Rush, I mean, no band is done unless it's done. So, you know, I've already, you know, Dustin and I talk about working on new stuff. Obviously, I'm very, very laser focused on Big Time Rush, and that's not changing anytime soon. But I'm much less precious about releasing music like I used to be. I think I'm interested in just making stuff and putting it out. But before I do any Heffron Drive, I have songs of my own, just me, that I'm interested in putting out. And so that's first priority after getting Big Time Rush, getting the wheels turning in the way that I'd like it to be.
No, so I ask like a super stupid question. What's the meaning behind Heffron Drive's name? I'm sorry if that's stupid.
No, it's not. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Thank you.
Heffron Drive is the street that I met. Well, that I grew up on in Burbank, and Dustin lived like 4 houses down from me, and it's a very small street. It's like maybe 4 blocks long. You know how other like streets will go to a dead end and then they'll continue on. Like you know, a little bit later, you'll find that street again. This is the only variation of it. So it's just right there, and we just kind of thought it was cool, and we thought, what are the odds that 2 guys from Kansas who didn't know each other would meet and would end up living on the same street? So we just, you know, figured we'd name it that.
It's a cool name. Maybe it was meant to happen for a reason, you know?
You know, I like the name a lot, but a lot of people have either a hard time pronouncing it or they act like they can't pronounce it. A lot of people will say, is it Heffron? Heffron Drive? Heffron? It's just like, it's not that hard, Heffron.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you haven't seen that word before, maybe it's difficult.
It's a cool name. Maybe it was meant to happen. You and Dustin meet, you know?
I think it was. I mean, I believe in that. Serendipity, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be too much of a coincidence. I mean, that's just too much of a coincidence, you know?
Is there a certain type of role now that you would love to portray, like a sci-fi, like a role you would love to do in movie, TV shows?
Yeah, I would love to do something from like a different time period.
Ooh, okay.
And honestly, I don't have any preference. I mean, it could be 70s. I think I definitely wanted like the maximum I'd want to do is the 70s, just because I'd like it's more about like what the vibe of the world was like at the time, you know. So I'd like to do something from the 70s down, and that could be all the way to medieval times. Although, you know, it's just it's hard because well, you know, the tricky thing about acting is you have to audition. In music, and where I am in my career with music, I don't have to audition for anybody, you know. So it's it makes you want to just kind of focus on music because you're in control of your own destiny, you know.
Oh, now, if you were like an actor or musician, what do you think you would have done as a career instead? And what other interesting hobbies do you besides music and acting?
Oh my God, Joe, I have way too many interests and hobbies. Which is funny because I was telling somebody about something I was excited about at like a house party, and they said, Mika was with me, and they said, "When's the last time you got this excited about something?" And I was like, "Yesterday." So basically, I find a lot of interest in a lot of things. if I had to choose a career, I think it's a cop out to say entrepreneur, because that's anybody with time and passion can be an entrepreneur. So if I had to like go to school for something,
Okay.
it probably would have been like engineering or some sort of biology. I would love to contribute to medical research in some way, to try to solve a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just find I'm really fascinated with aircraft and
Ooh.
different, planes and things like that. So more so than cars. Like I'm not really a big car guy, you
Mhm.
know, but I do find airplanes and helicopters and stuff like that really fascinating. I just think it's amazing, rockets and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I probably would have been an engineer of some sort.
Wow. So you do you really like the movie Top Gun then?
You
Or
know,
no?
I'm not like a huge fan of Top Gun, but
Oh,
which is funny. You would think if I loved airplanes so much, I'd be into Top Gun. But
are you?
yeah, I mean, I like it. I'll go see Maverick. You know.
Now I'm assuming for like an interesting hobbies, is cooking one of them then? For an interesting hobby?
Yeah, I do like cooking. I mean, yeah, it is a hobby. I've said many times to Mika, like, we should open up a restaurant or something. And she always goes, I don't want to work at a restaurant. And I always say, well, the idea is that we don't have to work at the restaurant. The idea is that we would open the restaurant, and create a business. Of course, you would have to work at it. But I'm saying, like, it'd be nice to create a concept, if you know what I'm saying, and like invest in a concept. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to be the cook. I'm just saying that I would invest in the concept.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go to Kendall and Mika's restaurant. I got you.
Hey, you know what, man? You'd have your own table.
Thank you, Kendall. Thank you. That'd be cool. What would you call
Own
it?
spot.
Like, what would you call your restaurant, Kendall? What's your restaurant gonna be called?
I don't know. I guess it depends on. It would be kind of depending on what the cuisine was. I think more
Mm-hmm.
than anything. I don't know.
I
I'd
like,
have to think on that.
I like that. Now, favorite. I don't know if favorite sports and favorite teams. Do you like sports at all?
Yeah, I think I used to like sports a lot more. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess ever since I got rid of cable, I guess we all have, almost everybody now. I don't know. Maybe you have cable, but I have just like the streaming platforms, like
Definitely.
Netflix and all that kind of stuff. And those platforms are not very friendly to sports for some reason. It seems like they don't want to play live sports, or do anything live for that matter. So, yeah, I mean, ever since I got rid of cable, I haven't really watched a lot of sports, and I've kind of fallen off. I couldn't really tell you who, besides like the famous people that you see in articles, I couldn't really tell you who plays on what team. But um, I mean, I'm from Kansas, so obviously I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. That being said, it's hard to say I'm a big fan, being that I haven't really watched any games in the last however many years. So, I mean, I saw the Super Bowl when they won the Super Bowl, but that's kind of just a bandwagon fan.
Yeah. See, I'm a big. Obviously, the hockey fan.
Oh, hockey fan. Yeah, hockey's great.
Yes, I'm a big. Do you know who the Vancouver Canucks are? Do you know there?
Of course, yeah.
That's my favorite team.
We played a Big Time Rush played at that arena, Rogers Arena, one
Yeah,
time.
I love the Canucks. Like if you saw, I'm a big Canucks fan too. Like you're like, whoa, Joe. Like I like a jacket, hat, shirt, everything.
Oh,
I'm
you
like a,
got have you been to a game then?
in Chicago. That's where I'm at in Chicago, but not in
Oh, when
Vancouver.
they played in Chicago. Well, you got to go up to Canada sometime and check out a game.
That'd be cool. Now, favorite food, Kendall, Mr. Cook, Kendall.
I mean, I really like pasta,
Okay.
and that's not any specific kind. I mean, I like pasta in general, different types, whether it be red sauce, ravioli, just anything pasta related I'm into. Um, love pizza. Pizza's great, obviously. Type of food, really love Asian food.
Ooh.
I don't really have a preference. I guess maybe I'd prefer Thai the most. Um, Maybe followed by Chinese. and then followed by Korean, and then followed by Vietnamese as far as my favorite Asian foods go. Love Mexican food,
Ooh.
you know, any kind really. And for that matter, Latin food in general. But because I'm in California, the majority of Latin food here is Mexican food. So it's quite a treat, to say the least.
So when you guys come to Chicago, like I think it's in June, July 7th. When you guys come to Chicago, I'll take out some pizza, Kendall. Got you.
You know what? If it's deep dish, I don't know though.
I don't like deep dish. I got a good place.
That might get me burned in Chicago, but I'm not a big deep dish fan.
I personally don't like deep dish either, but I got a good place you might like.
Okay, cool.
Would you, out of curiosity, would you want a 30-inch pizza slice? But that's because there's this place out here that sells 30-inch pizza slices for like $9.
Well, I might have to bail on that only because I kind of decided on this tour that I was going to follow a plant-based diet.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm curious to see what that results in general. But you know, Mika's vegan, so I've gotten really used to eating vegan food, and primarily, like for the most part, I'm vegan. It's just not as strict as she is about it. But yeah, for the tour, I'm getting my meals hooked up with this company called Sakara, and they're going to be delivering all of them. So we'll see what kind of shape I'm in. I'm 31, Joe. I'm 31. I need to get in some good shape before I'm 32.
Now, do you have any projects that come up in the works? Any projects coming up?
Well, like I mentioned, I have some solo music that I've now had it done for a while. But because Big Time Rush has been in the works for a while as well and requires a lot of attention. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the difference between Big Time Rush back in the day and Big Time Rush now is that the band is 100% in control of every decision, and are responsible for everything happening. If we don't make it happen, it doesn't happen. Obviously, we have a great management team, but if we don't make the creative decisions or make the music or make the content or do the work, it doesn't happen. So Big Time Rush requires my full attention at the moment, and which I'm happy to do because I love the band, I love the guys, and a lot of people really enjoy the music, and that's what means the most to me. So that being said, I have my own music that I want to get, you know, teed up at some point. Those are my two main projects at the moment. I mean, like I said, Big Time Rush is like a full-time job. And obviously the other guys are working on a lot of stuff. And so we're all working together, you know, to hold different aspects of it and to make sure that it goes smoothly, you know.
I like that. Now, what is your advice for younger kids on becoming an actor and musician? What is your advice, Kendall?
You know, the landscape has changed a lot since I was younger, and I'm not even that old. People oftentimes become successful because of social media.
Okay.
So when I was younger, social media really wasn't
a thing.
I mean, it was there, but it wasn't a factor in becoming successful.
Yeah.
Necessarily. People had social media because they wanted to have social media because they wanted to connect with friends. So it wasn't so much like, I mean, when I first made Heffron Drive music, we had a MySpace, and MySpace was the only platform. I remember when Twitter started, and I remember when Instagram started, and I remember when TikTok started, and when Vine started and quickly went away. So over the years, social media has become more and more important. We all know now, I mean, I don't want to sound like a boomer. We all know now how important it is. It's a factor of life. And it has clearly become a promotional tool much more than a way to connect with your friends. So I'd say the advice is, if you create something truly awesome,
Okay.
and you put it out into the world, and you
Okay.
somehow can replicate that multiple times, like, you know, I can't tell you that if you make an amazing song and you put it online that it's gonna be successful, you know. But if you replicate that enough times and you get enough supporters behind you, and I'm not talking about supporters off in the middle of nowhere on the internet, I'm talking about people around you who spread the word about you, at least, you know, word of mouth still counts in the immediate area. So yeah, I mean, you have to create something great, and it doesn't matter what that is. You just have to be passionate and make something that connects with people, and then obviously use the internet as your tool, because that is, I mean, that's kind of the key these days. And I'm not saying if you want to be an actor, I mean, obviously you have to somehow get a manager, get agents, you know, get an agent and get auditions, but that's easier said than done. So I do think, for better or worse, social media is definitely the key to success.
Like that. I like stay home.
Look, if you were on social media and you didn't have anything to offer, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you have something great to offer, then that's definitely the avenue for it to be seen or heard.
Yeah. I like that. I like to like stay humble. Remember where you like came from. You know what I mean?
Right. Of course.
Yeah, like don't
I mean, my grandma always tells me that. She goes, keep your head on straight, feet on the ground, and remember where you came from. My grandma always said.
I like that advice. I like that.
Yeah, she's great.
Now, would you be willing to come back on, depends on whenever you're available, for part 2, answer some fan submitted questions?
Sure, Joe. I'd be happy to do that.
I feel I ask it because there's some fans, you know, that watch this, they'll probably say, "Oh, can I ask him a question?" No.
Yeah, see what you get. I'm curious what people have to say.
Yeah. And also, what is one thing you would like to say to the Big Time Rush fans at home? What's one thing you'd like to say?
Well, first of all, you know, we wouldn't, you know, you can make a TV show. It doesn't mean people are going to like it. And people seem to connect with us in a way that I think still surprises us to this day. And I can tell you that we poured our heart and soul into not only the TV show, but the band. I don't think anybody had any expectations for us to be taken seriously as musicians. But when we started performing together, we made it our mission to be taken seriously. And that mission still continues today. And what I can tell you is Big Time Rush has always been an underdog, and we love an underdog story. And so for all the underdogs out there, never give up, keep pushing, because every dog will have its day.
I like that. I really like that.
Thank you.
Now, before I ask you my last question, can you sing a song?
Well, which one? What kind of song?
Okay. Which one do you prefer, Big Time Rush or Heffron Drive? That's up to you.
Either one.
Either one?
Whatever pops into your head.
See, I like One Way Ticket. I like Worldwide. Those are, you know.
Let's do One Way Ticket. I haven't sang One Way Ticket in a long time.
Okay.
On your shoulder, there's a golden rose. We're not wasting time if we're comfortable. I got a shitty car parked outside. If you want to drive, the tank is full. Are you all the way? Either one of us can take this all the way. I got a one-way ticket. You're the location and how we got to this place, I'll never know. I got a one-way ticket. Tell me now, do you want to go all the way? All the way.
That's amazing. I was just saying that, do ya? You know, do ya? You know, I don't know if you remember that line. One Way Tickets.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing job, Kendall. I'm sorry. Amazing.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, Kendall, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out, like I'll link down below in the video description?
Well, obviously, most importantly, we got the Big Time Rush tour happening. So make sure you get tickets. And some places they're pretty much not available. Some places are soon to be sold out. So wherever you are, definitely should look into that sooner than later. And we'd love to see everybody out there. It's going to be very exciting. And also, we got Fall coming out June 10th. It's one of my favorite songs we've ever done. And I think everyone's going to like it.
Yeah, because maybe I'll put at the end of the video, I'll put like the tour schedule, like, you know, that picture you guys took, like the promotional picture. I'll put that at the end of the video for you guys.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, and Kendall, for being an awesome and amazing guest. I had an awesome time chatting with you. Thank you, Kendall.
Thanks, Joe. Really appreciate it. Great questions.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Kendall.
You too, buddy.